Hello, and welcome back to Witch on the Holy Night. My name is Maybe Dennis, and last time, well, we started the episode with continuing the main story where Aoko was fighting with Sojiro about the disgusting gourmet dinner that he made of instant ramen with an egg on top. But after that small scuffle, Sojiro came home with 2 aquarium tickets for Aoko and Alice so they can go out on an excursion. And while they did that, they went to the aquarium a few towns over in a more modern city, and well, they had some discussions about how Aoko ends up trusting Alice, and Alice ends up trusting Aoko, and talked about Sojiro and just some cute little aquarium stuff. And back in Sojiro's part, we see that he has an uninvited guest. At least, it's a guest that he doesn't know. It's the woman that he saw at the pachinko parley ages ago, and her true identity is Toko Aozaki. And now, yeah, we finally have Toko Aozaki in the game. Cool. And we're back in the perspective of Aoko and Alice as they return home from the aquarium. So, let us continue. This was Misaki City's only subway line. Only half a year had passed since its opening, and at the end of the fairly new platform, there the 2 girls stood. The time was 6:30 in the evening. They had been idling for around 20 minutes since returning from Arisaka and yet to return to the street level.
Aoko.
There was a hint of irritation in Alice's voice.
ちょっと待って。あともう一回だけ。ね?
What is she doing? Is it one of those street gachapon things? Aoko begged Alice, hands together, trembling from the cold. It was rare to see her act this childish. There's no doubt that Tobimaru would consider this behavior more strange than cute if he were there. From the end of the platform, Aoko peered into the creeping darkness to where the tracks led.
あなたの趣味変わってるわ。
Okay, so she's looking into the subway, rail. Alice muttered, sitting on the bench with forbearance. Any other day and she would have been fine heading back by herself, but today she was in a good mood and decided to humor Aoko. If possible, she would have liked to return in still good spirits, as such spells of positivity, for her at least, tended to dissipate sooner rather than later. Eyes calmly closed, her placid demeanor conveyed her feelings well enough. Thus, the 2 of them waited on the platform alone for a subway train they had no intention of riding. The recently opened subway. High prices and low familiarity made for relatively few passengers coming from Misaki City. Thanks to the low foot traffic, the platform was still good as new. There was something primeval about a subway devoid of people. It was a picture of tranquility, free of human interference, lifeless and silent. A land unmolested by living creatures where only speechless organisms dwelt. The artificial fluorescent lighting highlighted its soullessness. It was a cave where the light ended and the shadow began. Riderless vessels disappeared into the dark. The platform wedged between 2 tracks, like a jetty stretching out into a subterranean sea of black. In this place, far removed from the world above, Aoko waited with eyes closed for the familiar rumble. It was Aoko who proposed that they delay their return and wait on the platform. The reason was simple. Aoko Aozaki enjoyed the soothing sound of a passing subway train.
今年はもうライブハウスに行けそうもないし、これぐらいのわがままはいいでしょ?
Wow, and all the way out here, the subways wouldn't come very often. I never thought that anyone would just sit down and enjoy the trains passing by. I live in a city where, man, they're just really loud, and I'd rather not deal with it. She said to Alice, her eyes still closed. Alice did not even nod as 3 trains had already passed following her decision to stay with Aoko. Silence again. Aoko waited for the next train with anticipation. Alice sat and stared at the wall of the subway patiently. According to the display board, the next train was due to arrive in 5 minutes. From the dark tunnel came wind and rumbling. A purposefully placed bound field now surrounded the platform. There was no sign of any station personnel, and entrances and exits were few and narrow. Oh, they're being attacked now, oh crap. With the lack of bystanders, the field was hardly necessary. Suddenly, 6 figures appeared in front of the stairs leading to the surface. Are they going to all be automaton? All sharing the same face, yup. Motionless and with smiles like the crescent moon, they stared at Aoko and Alice, Oh, no,
眠っているにも程があるわね。
they're gonna be like the ones that Alice fought before. Alice let out a quiet sigh.
どうかしたアリス？
どうも何も、この駅で降りたのはあなたと私だけなの。気づいていた？
そりゃあね、相変わらずここの地下鉄ってば利用客が少ないって。
Alco cut herself by tutting in annoyance.
で、そういうアリスはいつ気がついたの？
I felt it!
憂鬱なことにたった今よ。青子ばかり責められないわね。あなたと私が一つならこんなこともなかったのに。
つまらない例え話は口にしない。
Please. Never moving or making eye contact, their words stoic and calm. In contrast, the figures near the stairs began to stir. They advanced in unison, on all fours, as though regressed to a quadrupedal state. Like human-sized ants. One after the other, they swarmed forth. The din of clattering came not just from the platform entrances, but from the subway tunnel as well. Okay, no, they're just mannequin automaton things. At a glance, they numbered at least 30 strong. The creepy sound of skittering echoed off the subway walls.
信じられない。これだけの自動人形集めたらうちどころかフランスの一等地も買えるんじゃない？
That was very specific.
ええ、もっともこんな出来じゃ買い手は見つからないでしょうけど。
なんだ、ガラクタはガラクタか。
One of the horde leapt forward in response to Alco's insults. It was a sudden charge, like a hurtling dump truck. Alice remained still. As though expecting the attack, Alco swung her right arm in an arc. The blue missile of light was easily repelled. Her magic bullet, snap, had little to no effect against the puppets. They scrambled over each other like frogs, heads jerking and twisting in search of prey.
全部で30か。悪いけど一人でやらせてもらうわよ、アリス。この前の実力と思われたままじゃ不愉快だ。
As she spoke to Alice, who was still standing next to the bench, Alco stepped towards the edge of the platform. From the myriad of regrets she still had from the amusement park, the House of Mirrors stung the most. She was caught off guard in the previous engagement with those puppets. With adequate preparation and confidence, and Alice's backup, she would not let that happen again. Yeah, last time she got like sucker punched in the back, and then her mana loads were mana reserves were very bad. Igniting her magic crest, she would have revenge and be vindicted from.
私の後ろまで下がって青子。そこにいたらあなたまで食べてしまう。
Alco's like, let me get this. She's like, no, get out of the way. It took Alice raising one finger to the sky for Alco to stop. Uh-oh, oh god, something's gonna come from the... What is that?
待って、アリス、それは。
Too late. In the depths of the ocean black, the bells of night chimed out. The jetty, as if embraced by a sea god like Poseidon or Watatsumi, was awash with white particles.
青子のやり方じゃ跡が残るでしょう。もうじき次の電車も来るし。それに。
From beyond the white veil, her form blurred and stretched upwards on tiptoes. Like a melancholy ballerina, the figures surrounding the prima ballerina bristled in response to the strange aura. Though puppets were inhuman mystical vessels, they had far more reason to fear Alice than they did the human Aoko. They began to flee. Whoever their master was, they sensed enough danger to order a retreat. However, it was too late. The lead dancer in this ballet had them captivated, unable to move, as if their Achilles tendon had been severed.
それに。気分を台無しにされたのはあなただけじゃないわ。
She removed her black glove. Unlike her mansion demeanor, her cool aura morphed into a fierce, biting cold one, freezing all in their tracks. Gloves floated to the ground. The white haze grew ever thicker. The mass of shadows cried out for mercy.
ごっこ遊びをしましょう。
Let's play a little bit. Oh my god, their teeth! Within a dense, nebulous mist, a dark fairy tale manifested. From inside, oh god, the only thing seemingly real was the sound of her voice, a macabre melody. Well, that was really quick. Do we still get to see the train? Oh my gosh. Absolutely massacred. Feasting, grinding, crunching. At last, the final puppet fell. On the walls, on the floor, on the ceiling. The tragic sound of their demise filled the air. Oh god. Their twisted shrieks plastered the subway surfaces like indelible blood-like stains. All 30 puppets, promptly yet slowly as though to savor their taste, were completely devoured by the mystifying monster. All save one appendage, a lonesome severed arm on the platform.
持ってきてたのあれ。
Akko spoke sideways to Alice, making no attempt to hide her disgust. A beast of the fog. One of her great three-ployed kickshaws, the Meister Rose Hound, Wandersnatch. It was a name carrying immense violence and devastation. I'm gonna call it Wandersnach. I'm pretty sure that's not right, but that's fun to pronounce. Alko's words stung, since Alice was the one harboring its true form. The great three ploys wielded terrifyingly powerful curses. It was one thing to carry it around for self-defense, but keeping it a secret from her companion did not amuse Alko in the slightest. It was like going out to eat with a grenade in your pocket.
まあ、次からは一言お願いね。他のプロイならいいけど、今のやつだけは別よ。できれば洋館限定にしてほしいぐらい。
悪かったわ。でも最近何も食べさせてなかったから。
Alice walked slowly towards the puppet arm rolling along the platform. What had just occurred made perfect sense. It needed to eat, so she let it eat. But the beast could not be seen, and there was no bloodshed on the account of the victims being made of plastic.
青子、ちょっと。
I thought there was a lot. Alice said, picking up the puppet's arm.
これを見て。私たちは今まで相手を人形使いと思っていたけど、正確には違ったみたい。わかる？この人形たちは新しすぎる。この子たちが作られたのは17世紀以後よ。それはそれで信じがたいことだけど。
なんですって？
Though sounded contradictory, automata typically performed better with age. After the 17th century, as the magical concepts of using puppets and mannequins declined, automatons suitable for combat became harder to produce. In recent years of automaton manufacturing, even low-rank familiars to be used in training could be produced inexpensively and with relative decent quality. Therefore, it was common for modern puppet masters to collect parts made before the 17th century and use them in their creations. The high price of automaton often came not from their combat abilities, but the rarity of parts used to make them. However, the enemy mage controlling these puppets used them as fodder as if they grew on trees. The only conclusion that could be made, therefore, was that their current opponent was a spoiled, rotten upstart mage with no territory of their own to control, or so Alice and Aoko imagined.
それともう一つ。
They broke the
この構
rules.
造は三崎市の結界に似ているわ。
The internal design of this one is reminiscent of the one in Misaki City's bounded field. So it's reminiscent of the one that they fought.
まるで自分たちこそがこの町を守る兵士だって主張するぐらい。
Alice presented evidence to Aoko, who was waving away from the fog around her. Get away from me! She felt profound surprise, then rapid realization.
そういうことなのね。
Alice muttered to herself, violently hurling the arm against the platform. Actually, I just want to see that again. So, like, the thing that they discovered was... The internal design of this one is reminiscent to the ones from Misaki's bounded fields. almost as if they were soldiers defending a city. So that's what they're supposed to do. So maybe it belongs to the person who broke like one of the sigils. Maybe they deciphered it or something, or maybe they are related to it in some way. Her face twisted with anger and a hint of fear.
惜しげもなく骨董品を出してくると思ったら、そもそも出し惜しむほどのものじゃなかったわけか。ち、確かにあの女なら町の結界にも反応しないし、私の欠点も知ってて当然。視点の退去だって簡単にやってのけるわよね。
Oh, they know it's a she.
だって。
Alice quietly looked on in bemusement at Aoko's fierce ramblings.
アオコ、
Furious.
これを作ったのはそうなの？
ええ、昔から物を作ることに関しちゃずば抜けていたからね、あの人は。
Aoko glared at the severed arm, furious at its creator and herself for taking so long to figure out that it was her.
でも、ようやく合点がいった。認めたくないけど、今回の敵は間違いなく私の姉貴。
Yep, and she's currently home, waiting to talk to you. Haha.
この土地の元継承者、青崎東子その人よ。アリス。
Oh, that's why she's attacking. She was supposed to inherit the land, but then Aoko became the heir. The desolate subway platform returned to its silence. Aoko's words lingered uncomfortably in the air. Yes. Yes, so Toko Aozaki, I mentioned this before. Okay, I did not expect that. A short time ago at the Kuonji estate. Okay, but like, as I mentioned before, Toko Aozaki is known in the Nasuverse as essentially a puppet master, or someone who can make dolls so advanced or so realistic that they can essentially replace humans. So like, that's one of the things that made her so powerful. Because, well, slight spoilers for Kara no Kyokai or Garden of Sinners, so skip ahead to like 10 seconds. But she was able to make a puppet that was so much like herself that when she, like, if she were to ever die, it would just replace her completely. So she just had a stock of like lives. So yeah, that was, Toko is very powerful. And the moment I saw one of the mannequins, I knew that she was going to be the culprit because she is the puppet master. The videotape finished playing. The VCR had automatically stopped playback, foregoing the need to hit the stop button to avoid the static storm. What remained on screen was the reflection of Sojiro and Toko Aozaki, sitting opposite each other in conversation.
秘密を知られたから先生なしの直接攻撃ね。怪獣作を考えもしないのは青子らしいけど。
Are they just talking about the time when, well, you know, your sister almost killed me? Yeah, it happens. It was hard to tell if she was being patronizing or indifferent. Toko Aozaka. I said Toko Aozaka. Toko Aozaki took a sip from her cup as she listened to Sojiro's story. She would have savored the anecdote about the amusement park kerfuffle if it were not for the poor excuse of a cup of tea in her hands. Everyone hates the tea that my boy makes.
ありがとう。参考になったわ。ここしばらく青子とは顔を合わせていなかったから、あの子がどんな風に成長したかなんて想像するしかなかったし。
Oh no, I hope Sojiro didn't do a oopsie because like he's telling this information to Toko because she's Aoko's sister and she would also know about magic, so it wouldn't be like other people finding out about it, so it wouldn't be like breaking the rules. But little does he know, he's revealing information to their enemy. The one that they've been stressing over the past few days.
それと一応肉親として謝っておかないとね。災難に付き合わせて悪かったわ、宗十郎くん。
Yeah, even though I was the one who made that. Actually, technically that the mannequin automaton saved his life because if it wasn't for that, Sojiro would have just been shot by a magic bullet. And if it wasn't for the automaton, Aoko and Sojiro would have never teamed up and gone like that moment. Sure, it was life risking, but like he would have died.
ほんと、あの子ったら昔から迷いってものがなかったから。
Yes, very headstrong.
なさすぎると思います。
Yep. Sojiro was enjoying the conversation despite having to relive those events. About an hour had passed while the two of them sat in conversation, neither short on topics to discuss. Aoko was an easy topic for both of them, so the conversation centered mostly around her.
ところで、さっきから気になってることがあるんだけど、聞いていいかな？
Oh god, it's also revealing that, like, someone not associated with the magic world is in the know of the magic world. So, like, oh no. Because, like, Aoko and Alice were playing just erasing his memory, but, like, no one else knew about that. So, hopefully this doesn't mess things up. With courteous posture, her eyes shined with curiosity. Her elegant demeanor caused Sojiro's heart to beat faster.
気になってることですか？
Despite his caution, he could not help but show deference to her. Whether Toko found Sojiro charming or not was unclear as she affectionately smiled at him.
ええ、一度目はダッシュで逃げられて驚いたけど、今日は違った意味で驚かされた。ね、そういうのが若い子たちの流行りなの？
Yes, show us the bandage.
はい。
Toko tilted her head, eyes fixated on the collar that Aoko had given him, snugly wrapped around his neck.
新手のチョーカー？でもどこから見ても、ほら。
It's Sun Wukong's headband. It's gonna kill me one day. The bispectacled woman did her best to hold her tongue. On a completely unrelated note, in another decade, similar accessories would become standard part of any visual kei artist's wardrobe.
まさかどこから見ても首輪ですよ。犬用の。
やっぱり？けどその首はすごく可愛いわ。よく似合ってるけど、自分でつけたの？
Aw, look at her. Toko stared intently, examining the strap. While he had never been conscious of the collar till now, for some reason, Sojiro found himself blushing.
はい。つけたのは自分ですけど。
そうじゃなくて、誰からもらったの？青子？それともクオンジさん？
くれたのは青子ですね。
Toko simply nodded in satisfaction at Sojiro's candid response.
つまり、君は青子の持ち物なわけか。
So that makes you Aoko's property. Ooh. She coldly muttered. With this, the cordial atmosphere began to turn. Sojiro nodded, naturally oblivious to the sting in her words.
何でも所有されてるそうです。
He said casually, causing Toko to burst out in laughter. Toko was the quirky type of person to laugh when least appropriate. As her laugh tapered off into a giggle, she picked up her now empty teacup.
じゃあ、これも青子のでしょ？青っていう名前にコンプレックスがあるくせに、青いものが割と好きだから。
She does have that really nice sweater though, that's blue.
そうですけど、おかわりしますか？二人ともまだ帰ってきそうにありませんから。
いいえ、そろそろ帰ってくる頃よ。
As I calculated.
仕向けたから。
I did delay them a little bit so I can have this conversation with you. Sojiro casually nodded, still clueless to the premeditation of her visit. But then the strangeness of her phrasing dawned on him, and he tilted his head in confusion.
トウコさん。
Toko sighed once in response.
ごめんね、宗十郎くん。メガネ外してもいいかしら。
Oh god, does she have mystic eyes of something? She wondered why she would need to ask his approval, but nodded anyway to confirm his assent.
それじゃあお言葉に甘えて。
Oh no. Oh no, what's gonna happen?
もう少しぐらいは君の反応を見ていたかったけど。
Oh no, 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 no. Toko touched the temples of her glasses. If you were to look close enough, you might have noticed how her slender fingers were scarred. Small, fine scars from years of repeated cuts. Instantly, her glasses fell away from her face, resigned to their fateful fall. It happened so fast that Sojo barely understood what he saw. The frames cracked into pieces as it slid down her face onto her lap. Uh-oh.
やるもんだ。30体を一瞬とはね。
Oh my god, her attitude changed completely. Toko could sit behind her veneer no longer. By removing her glasses, the elegant lady of moments ago was gone. Any semblance of warmth and kindness had disappeared. What sat on the sofa was one deplorable mage, her demeanor darkening the room. Sojiro sat speechless on the sofa. Across from him was a completely changed Toko glaring back at him menacingly. More malice and magical energy was now emanating from Toko than when Aoko tried to kill Sojiro. She sat titillated at the prospect of a young boy's shock and fear at her transformation. Such expectations, however, were often left unfulfilled when it came to Sojiro. He's like, bro, that costs money. Sojiro blurted out in surprise. Her hand stopped as she reached for a cigarette, the wind taking out of her sails.
いや、そんなものはいいんだ。多少視力が落ちたところで大事にはならないし。そもそも私がある限り、五感による情報にすら主観が入る。すべてこの世は霧の中だ。もともと目に見えるだけのものは信じていないたちでね。
Her speech had taken a clinical tone. Yeah, oh my god. This too did not seem to shake Sojiro. She definitely looks a lot more intimidating now. But Sojiro's like, huh, she just lost her glasses, that's it.
そうですか。それで、さっきの言葉の意味ですけど。
Sojiro began, unflinchingly. Toko scowled back at him. After some consideration, she came to the conclusion that she needed to be blunt with the boy. By some twist of fate, it was a headache she now unknowingly shared with her sister.
意味も何もない。青子たちの帰り道に多少の障害を置いただけだ。私がここにいる間は外で足止めをするように。君は青子の持ち物だと言ったな。ならことさら丁寧に教えてやる必要もない。告白してしまうとね、宗十郎君。私が君たちの敵なんだ。
Oh, she just comes out with it. Sojiro would not get it if she didn't say that otherwise. Though he understood her words, the clock's second hand would fully rotate twice before anyone next spoke. They sat across from each other, eyes locked. Sojiro's shoulders tightened nervously. He had finally understood the true danger of the situation. Toko asked with a grin. Despite the splitting image of each other, without glasses, Toko's smile was rather sinister. It's because she's my sister. Her smile pierced him as he asked the obvious. Toko was no longer surprised that Sojiro would be more concerned about the safety of others than his own. In just one short hour, she had come to understand Sojiro Shizuki better than he knew himself.
逆だよ。姉だから敵なんだ。私には青子からあらゆる権利を奪う義務がある。物質的なものも精神的なものもそのすべてを踏みにじらなきゃ気が済まない。
Oh no, that's why she was like, oh, so you're Aoko's now, huh? That means I have to crush you as well.
尺度として言うなら、もし青子がこの町に頼っていたのなら、まず町から壊していたぐらい。けど、君のことは予想外だった。
Yeah, you're out of my calculations. Toko, her eyes closed, felt sorrow. Behind her troubled expression, there was a silent conflict.
世の平等に起こるべきか、偶然の出会いとやらに嘆くべきか。これも抑止力というやつかな。
The counter force. Something that I still don't really understand. It's just like, oh, there's a problem that's might affect the world. We'll just throw something at it.
無垢な部外者を手にかけるのは世の常だが、この手合いにあったのは初めてだ。いや、そもそもいるなどと考えたことすらなかったな。
Just from the mountains? Toko sighed at the ceiling and stirred in her seat. She seemed to have overcome an unexpected moment of uncertainty.
君は青子の切り札には見えない。排除しておくまでもない善良かつ無能な部外者だ。だから放っておきたいのだけど、私の六感がこう告げているんだ。
More plainly put, she had made her oh no, she had made up her mind to kill him. He's like, oh man, I try to survive. I just walked into something and I have to die. Now after surviving, I still have to die. But after surviving the encounter with Alice and now living in the house, I still have to die. Though Sojiro was somewhat flattered at how she was grossly inflating his importance in all this, what dawned upon him was the fact that through karmic irony, Toko had inevitably arrived at the same conclusion as her sister. However, this was no time for idle thoughts. Sojiro readied himself to stand up from the sofa in such a way as to not draw attention to the plan so clearly written all over his face. Make a run for it!
バカ者、こういう時は半端に動くな。逃げるならさっさと逃げる。交渉するならテコでも動くな。
Should have ran away from her again.
なんというか、そんな風に動かれると、その気がなくともつい反応してしまうだろう。ほら、命が惜しいのなら、おとなしく固まっていなさい。
殺さないんですか？
今のところはね。私は君が気に入ったし。
I like Sojiro too. He's pretty cool. Don't kill him, please.
違うな。正しくはこう。私ぐらいしか君を救ってあげられないのかも。
He's like, I will kill you, but I am the only one that can save you from being killed from me.
はい。
She looked the perplexed Sojiro straight in the eyes. Though actually brown, her eyes gleamed a piercing red like the edge of a blade. Oh my gosh, she does have a mystic eye of something. It was at this moment an overwhelming sense of dizziness overcame Sojiro. His mind went numb, like he couldn't tell who he was, as if he was drifting into a sinister sleep from which he'd never wake. Sojiro clenched his jaw, desperate to maintain consciousness. Toko's eyes devoured him like a bottomless pit of quicksand. In that moment, it all became clear to him. It no longer mattered that she was Aoko's sister, or that she was Alice's sworn enemy. Toko Aozaki's deadly battle with the girls had become his battle. Which is why, when you find yourself feeling a special spark for a stranger met mere moments ago, that feeling is not to be trusted. For you may simply be attempting to fill an emptiness with the same mold as yours, with more emptiness. Sojiro tried to drag his body away from this heretofore encountered sense of danger, but found that it would not respond. Toko tilted her head forwards towards him, eyes fixated on his.
君の思う通り、私は君と似たところがある。それとも君が私に近いのかな。何？食べ物の好き嫌い程度の類似だが、軽視することでもない。問題は、君が私より偏っているということでね。
I misread that as, you're more based than I am. Bias. She clearly used a different definition of the word than the one Sojiro knew. Biased. It meant that he was alone, that he was an outsider who didn't belong in this town. A sudden and seething anger eclipsed his gentle heart.
俺、
Oh no,
一人じゃないですけど。
I'm not alone. Sojiro shot back with all the enmity he could muster. This is the same look that he had when Hosuke was telling his story about, like, interacting with Aoko. As he faced a witch named Toko Aozaki. If he had not, he feared that he would never escape her gaze.
だろうな。だからこそ君は偏っているんだ。早くそれに気づきなさい。一番手っ取り早い解決は、それでいいんだと認めることだ。人間なんてたくましいもんでね。別に何もかも放り投げてもうまくいくものなのさ。けれど、青子にはそれは許せない。あれは他人であれ、あらゆることを許さない人間だからな。
Toko leaned over the table. She reached out, grabbed Sojiro's collar, and roughly pulled him towards her.
いや、そんなことはいいんだ。 ただ純粋に私は君が欲しいと思った。君が自分の名前すら定かではないと名乗った時にね。
I need an adult? I am an adult.
自分の認識が不明で自分自身が不能と感じる。未来というものがとても自分に関わりのあることとは思えない。となれば必然心情は過去への逆行を試みる。しかし所詮ソアの前のモアのように正常な流れの前には時間旅行は押し戻されてしまう。
This talk about Moi and Soy, I don't know this. But just as the Moi, the lesser self, comes before the Soy, the greater self, the normal flow of time will always reject time travel. Well, okay, sure.
それも私にあって君にあるものだ。ああ、なんて無様な私、なんて哀れな。
Toko trailed off mid-sentence. As she pulled Sojiro closer, her eyes reflected in his, she noticed the merciful expression on her face. Sojiro got to thinking. He had no hostility towards this woman. He bore her no grudge, harbored no desire to kill her. He was aware only of his anger and aimless compassion. He wished that he could have given her the answers she wanted. But...
あなたの言っていることはよくわからない。
I don't know many things. Sojiro replied apologetically. A verbal reply to the visible question he perceived in her eyes. Toko showed no sign of disappointment. Instead, the corners of her lips turned upwards in delight.
そうか。君には言葉の暗示は通じないんだな。意味深なセリフ回しで丸飲みにしてやろうとも思ったが、いや失敗。小綺麗な建前は逆効果だった。君にはむき出しの原始的な語りの方が良かったんだな。
Yes, please. I am Mountain Boy.
いいよ。ますます気に入った。
Oh no. Oh no. Her fingers dug into his throat as if she was tearing at the leather. Perhaps he could be hers, if only she could rip it off.
少年、青子なぞより私のもとに来い。使い道はないが保護ぐらいはしてやろう。手が空いた時なら気晴らしに愛してやってもいい。
It had taken many approaches, but she seemed to have decided on this one. The lengths to which she went to seduce him were not lost in Sojiro, and truth be told, they were not wholly unwelcome. But back to the matter at hand.
それはお断りします。
Sojiro chose the direct response, as he did.
なぜ？
だってあなたのためにならない。
Oh, I didn't expect that response. He had confidence in that, at least. Toko's overestimation of him aside, Sojiro knew for a fact that he had to escape this woman's clutches. The tete could only be concluded by one of its two participants, Toko or the individual she was currently infatuated with. I like this look. On a hunch, the boy mustered all the conviction he could feign. She gently removed her hand from his collar and jabbed him in the chest, causing him to topple back onto the sofa.
そうか。なら仕方がない。君も青子の大切な持ち物として考えることにしよう。
Oh no! The Scarred Red Mage. Oh, the Scarred... Oh, right, that's the title, I forgot! And the scars are on her hand. I see. The Scarred Red Mage quietly stood up.
青子が帰ってくる頃だから私は行くよ。青子では私には勝てない。とだけ伝えておいてくれればいい。
I hope she doesn't shoot the messenger. And by that I mean me.
それはいいんですけど。
Sojiro's reply from the sofa stopped the exiting Toko in her tracks. Then, like a student humbly inquiring of a teacher, Sojiro pointed to the object in Toko's hand and asked.
そのカップどうするんです？
Surprised, she looked down at the teacup in her right hand that she had forgotten that she was holding. She hadn't even realized that she had been holding the cup the entire time.
これ？せっかくだからもらっていく。
The act of taking something without the ownership's permission is commonly referred to as theft. Did you know that's theft, by the way? However, this is more likely the typical relationship between Aoko and Toko. Share and share alike, and so forth. Sojiro nodded to show that he understood. Unsure if his nod was sincere or not, Toko smiled that gleeful grin for the second time since taking her glasses off.
やはり変わり種だね、君は。逸材かどうかは別の話だが。
For just a moment, she had returned to the affable Toko Aozaki he had met before the glasses came off. Leaving him with the image of her smile, she departed the mansion. Her broken glasses remained sitting on the drawing room table. Ah, man. Are they finally home? Ah, yes, they are. Oh, no. I wonder what her eyes did to him, because, like, they kind of paralyzed him for a little bit. It felt like his soul was leaving his body or something. And then he just kind of came back. I thought they would do more. No sooner had the eerie visitor left did Aoko and Alice return home. Despite Aoko's sour mood, she seemed merry as ever. Despite everything that had happened, and their trip having its fair share of problems, she still had fun. Whereas Alice was her usual stoic self, with the form not unlike a parent falling behind a rampaging toddler, cleaning up their mess. The scene of their return was like something out of a TV sitcom, and lost in thought, Sojiro forgot to greet them.
Sojiro, 留守中何かあった?
Yes. Aoko asked, more so out of etiquette than curiosity, while removing her coat. Without answering, he stood up from the sofa.
そりゃ半日分の出来事はあったけど、それより寒かっただろう。お茶を入れようか。
No, he's not telling them.
ああ、お願い。こっちも一から作戦練り上げようってとこだから。
Wait, he's gonna make some tea, but she's gonna notice that her teacup is gone. Sojiro was on his way to the kitchen to prepare tea even before Aoko had finished her upbeat response. Wait, her teacup's gone! He was following his same tea brewing routine as always, but somehow, something did not feel the same. As though in a trance, Sojiro returned to the drawing room where they were settling down and placed the tea on the table.
これからどうするつもりなの？
とりあえず足で探すしかないわね。あいつ相手に守りに入るのは良くない。こっちが城壁を作ってる間に一個師団の人形をこさえかねないわ。
They conversed with each other while ignoring Sojiro's presence. Upon hearing what they said, he stood up and spoke abruptly.
探すって、トウコさんを？
それ以外誰を探すって。
Wait a sec.
ちょっと、あんた今なんて言ったの？
トウコさんなんだろ、青崎たちの敵は。さっきまでここにいたよ。
He answered so casually, Aoko standing there dumbfounded. Alice stood up from the sofa and went to where the two of them were standing. Her typical kind and somber features turned reproachable.
しずきくん、その人、何かしていった？
お茶を飲んで、メガネを外して帰っていっただけだけど。あれ、よく思い出せないな。
Oh. What was once a clear memory seemed to have been scrubbed clean from his mind. Oh, she has the power to wipe away memories. Maybe that's why she said that she could free him from this, because maybe she could have wiped his memories of everything that happened here. Sojiro was overcome by the same dizziness he felt before. A sharp, dry smack echoed through the room. What snapped him out of his haze was an unexpected slap from Alice.
二度は言わないわ。他人を私の家に立ち入らせないで。
Yeah, that was a big no-no. Deep within her eyes, beyond the normal cool indifference, was an intense fury. Realizing, however, that it was no ordinary anger, Sojiro understood how careless he had been.
すまない。アリスにとってここが大事な場所なのは分かってたのに。
Heavy silence followed. While Sojiro and Alice stood there, chained to the spot by their own regret. Aoko looked on in amazement, wondering if they would stay this way all night if left alone.
あのね、姉貴を通した宗十郎も悪いけど、言ってなかったアリスも悪いでしょ。子供じゃないんだから、いつまでも反省してないで、もっと前向きに話をしない？
Alice hung her head and sat back down at Aoko's insistence. Sojiro stood where he was, nursing his stinging right cheek. Pain was pain, but he knew how to take a knock. More to the point, the crisp strike from Alice snapped him out of his fog, jogging his memory.
思い出した。青子じゃ私には勝てないって伝えておいてほしいって。
大した自信ね。他には？
他は基本的に世間話だったというか。あ、ソアとかモアとかよくわからない。
Oh yeah, the soy and moi. Don't understand it. Considering the small talk was mostly about Aoko and her flaws, Sojiro decided it would be better to take that part to his grave.
大河とショウガ？あの人、インドにでも行ってたのかしら。ところで宗十郎、あんた、姉貴に何かされたわね。
Aoko turned to him, glaring at him sharply. He had nothing to be ashamed of, but he looked away guiltily anyways.
何かって何さ？
思い出せないとか言ってたでしょ。さっきまでの態度もふわふわしてたし。そうか、メガネを外したまでは覚えてたってことは魔眼にでも見入られたか。
By her mystic eyes, yes. As quickly as she had jumped to that conclusion, Aoko went quiet again, as if the information was of little importance. But it was not enough to detract Sojiro from bringing it up again.
青崎、魔眼ってなんだ？
魔力を帯びた目のことよ。簡単なものは一時的な混乱を、上級なものは睨んだだけで相手を殺すとかね。バロールみたいな魔眼の持ち主なんて伝説だけだろうし、そもそもそんな魔眼持ちが生まれてくるなら私たちの悩みもあっさり終わるってものだけど。
Without further context, Aoko knew her explanation was completely lost on Sojiro.
そうね。わかりやすく言うと、私の魔弾みたいなのを目から照射するようなもんよ。
She shot me with her eyes, but I feel fine, except for the dizziness.
目から青崎か。
Sojiro's confusion deepened along with Aoko's frustration.
だからあなた一度目を閉じた後の瞳子の目を見たんでしょ。その一瞬で姉貴の魔眼に捕まったってこと。目を猫名詞に入れ替える魔術師もいるけど、姉貴はそんなことする必要はないから。あの人生まれながらの魔眼持ちだしね。さしたる準備も栄唱もなしでシャッターするだけで切り替え自由なの。
Sojiro pounded his fist in understanding. I understand now. Now he thought about it, he vaguely remembered her doing something exactly like that. Everything after was foggy and muddled, and her mystic eyes seemed to be the only logical cause.
その話は分かったけど、瞳子さんは青崎のお姉さんなんだろ？なんで姉妹で殺し合いをしてるんだ？
Why would friends try to kill each other? It happens. He knew it was not something he should ask, but he did anyways. The question was against the rules. He had no business being involved in this dispute. Aoko closed her eyes to collect her thoughts. She decided it was best for all involved to at least share some background information, if only to head off further questions.
いいわ、話してあげる。姉貴に関わった以上、事情を説明しておかないと危ないし。けど、なんであれ聞き返すのはなしね。この件に関しては、私は私の事情を話すだけだから。
She stared down Sojiro until he nodded slowly in recognition. Knowing him, she knew this was confirmation enough. The conversation was becoming oddly friendly again, but Aoko sat up a little straighter as she prepared to tell the tale.
姉貴の話をするってことは、私と青崎の家の話と、何より魔術と魔法の話をしないといけない。少し遠回りになるし、他言無用な内容だけど、いずれあんたの記憶は消えるから問題ないってことで。
Aoko made sure to add that disclaimer as a condition for telling him the information in the first place.
魔術っていうのはね、宗十郎、いわば共通のルールなのよ。ルーンやカバラといった魔術系統はそれぞれの科目、世界共通のマニュアルだと思えばいい。教科書さえきちんと持っているのなら、あとは血脈次第で誰でも魔術師にはなれるわ。けど魔法を使うのは別。魔法は魔術みたいに根源の渦から派生した写本じゃなくて、根源の渦に直接つながるものだから。
Sure, okay.
この根源の渦っていうのは、 宗十郎の分かるレベルに落とし込むと、まあ太陽みたいなものと考えて。遠くにあって何より初めにあるもので、それなくしては私たちは生活できないと言った。魔術っていうのはこの太陽からの恩恵を利用しただけのものよ。自然現象の模倣ないし代償が魔術の本質だから。神秘を学び実践し再現するけど、神秘そのものを作ることはできない。いえ、研究の末にたどり着くんでしょうけど、そこには大きな壁がある。人知では越えられないリミッターみたいな壁がね。で、魔法っていうのは太陽そのものを扱うこと。誰にも到達できない場所に行って何者にも真似できない奇跡を起こす。お金をかけようが時間をかけようが今の人類には到達できない技術、それが魔法。
Okay, a technique to make things happen that humanity could never hope to accomplish with any amount of time or resource. That's true magic. I've always been confused about what true magic is because that's a term thrown around in the Nasuverse a lot, and it's very, very powerful. Like one of the pillars of like what makes magecraft, or not magecraft, but magic. But it's always been kind of vague. But I guess from this, it kind of sounds like it's the I guess in a way, like the ability to perform miracles or things outside of what humans can do. So that's, insightful.
次元の壁を越えるっていうか、最後まで走ってみたら全く違うルールでできた世界があって、そのルールを学んじゃったってとこかしら。前に魔術に限界はないって言ったでしょ。あれは人知の及ぶ範囲なら限界はないって意味ね。対して魔法は限界だらけっていうか、一つのことしかできないけど、それも当然なの。だってこの宇宙の仕組みから仲間外れの一つっきりの交点なんだから。
They break the rules. Okay.
魔術より魔法の方がすごいというのは流れ的にわかるんだけど、限界だらけなんだよな。
限界っていうか、特例、特権、越権の類ね。
An abuse of power?
汎用性はないけど、誰にもできないことを可能とする時点で魔術世界にとっては万能とされる。そもそも魔法は根源の渦にたどり着いた魔術師へのご褒美みたいなもので、たとえその術者に魔法を使うだけの肉体性能がなくても、根源へのパスができただけで魔術的にはやりたい放題ってわけ。要は地球で一番のお金持ちになるってこと。
Oh, money! Sojiro made an appreciative sound. Impress. On the other hand, Alice looked as though she wished to make many revisions to Aoko's account. Man, stop making this stuff up.
一番の大金持ちか。じゃあどんなにお金持ちでも一番目でない以上は魔法はもらえないんだな。
まあそういうこと。時々とんでもない角度で確信をつくわね、こいつ。あんたの言う通り、同じルート同じ方法で根源にたどり着いても、一番目じゃないと魔法にはたどり着けない。
Okay, so only one person can use the magic at any time?
どんなに優れていても2番目以降には意味がないのよ。
It has to be the first person, I guess?
魔法使いが5人、いえ4人か。現存する魔法使いが4人しかいないのは、一度使われたルートは閉ざされてしまうから。大昔はそうでもなかったって話だけどね。根源への道、真理への到達に壁を作ったのは皮肉なことに人間自身だった。未知を解明すればするほどルートが閉じていくなんて、昔の魔術師たちは思いもしなかったんでしょう。でも結果はこの通り。気がついた時には後の祭りっていうか、多くの研鑽の末、この世から魔法は消えていっちゃったわけ。
それは山と町の関係に似てると思っていいのかな。
ミクロな視点で言うなら似たようなものよ。で、 い最近まで現代の魔術師たちは残された最後の席を求めていたけど、それもちょっと前にどこぞの田舎者が横取りしちゃって、椅子取りゲームはあえなく終了。
Some country bumpkin snagged it a while ago, so the little race is over. Huh, so someone took one of the true magics, I guess.
あとは魔法抜きで根源にたどり着くため、地味で無意味な魔術の研究を続けることになった。
I wonder who that country bumpkin is. It's probably relevant in other pieces of Nasuverse.
もともと魔法なんてのを優先してたのは一部の魔術師だけで、他の真っ当な連中はとっくに見切りをつけてたんだけどね。だって魔術師にとって最終目的は根源の渦への到達であって魔法じゃないし、そのあたりいつの間にかごっちゃになっちゃったんでしょ。卵が先か鶏が先かって話。
よし、全くわからないってことは分かったんでそろそろ本題に入ってくれ。
Now that I understand absolutely nothing.
あ、けど一番目の人間しか魔法使いになれないのに、魔法使いは何人もいるのか？
There are different types of true magic.
5人いたわ。最終的に人間に残される最後の課題は5つだろうって、一番初めの。
青子、
じゃあ本題ね。魔法と魔術の関係が分かったところで、ようやくうちの話になるんだけど。
She was interrupted. Well, there are 5 at one time. There are 5 final tasks left to humanity. So it was about I guess the other methods of achieving magic, or maybe? I don't know.
青崎の家が代々魔術師だったのは前に言ったでしょ。歴史的には浅いけど、運と才能には恵まれていたのね。青崎はなんだかんだって魔法にまでたどり着いたんだから。
ちょっと待った。じゃあ青崎が
私はあくまで魔術師見習い。使えないし使う気もないわよ、魔法なんて。私はただ青崎の家を継いだだけだもの。
Alko asserted obtusely, her voice devoid of emotion. She became a mage not to wield magic, but simply because of the succession of her family magecraft was forced on her.
とにかく
It does beg the question of if her sister is so unbelievably powerful, why it didn't go to her?
根源の渦にたどり着くには何代も何代も魔術を研究しなくちゃいけない。自分独自の皮を作るようなものなんだから、
Every special
もちろん
snowflake.
その過程は果てがない。よほどの天賦か典型でもない限り魔法を作るなんてできないしね。そしてもし根源にたどり着いてもふさわしい後継者がいなければ一代限りの奇跡で終わってしまう。だから魔術師は血脈を重ねて代々の魔力を時代に積み重ねていく。自分より優れた後継者を生むために。
Alko wrapped up the explanation by remarking that it was like producing a thoroughbred. Not that Sojiro knew what a thoroughbred was to begin with, leaving him as perplexed at the end of the story as he was at the beginning.
そうやって代を重ねて魔術師は作り上げた独自の神秘、守り続けた魔術を次の世代に伝えていくの。きっと最後の最後に全ての疑問を打ち消すに足る答えがあるはずだって。でも魔術師、いえ魔法使いだってみんな悟ってるのよ。自分の代でもその次の代でもきっと最後の最後の最後まで誰もゴールにはたどり着けないって結末を。
You'll never obtain true magic.
それを分かっていながら魔術を研究していくのが神秘学に取りつかれた者の宿命だって祖父はよく口にしてた。けど私の姉はそうじゃなかったみたい。
She left, I can see why, hanging in the air. Alice had no response. The Aozaki family passing down true magic. Alko, the reluctant successor. And Toko Aozaki, her elder sister.
本当は青崎の後継者は姉貴だった。私もうちの家業が何であるかは教えられてきたけど実践することはなかったのよ。魔術師の家系はよっぽど裕福でもない限り基本的に一子相伝だからね。うちほんと財力的には一般家庭レベルだし。 で、後継者にはより魔術に適したものが選ばれるわけだけど、姉貴は確かに天才だった。けどそれは青崎の後継者にはいらない才能だった。その代わり、私は心底青崎の後継者としてふさわしかったみたい。まあ、それはそれでどうも思わないけど、祖父がはっきりと私にくら替えしたのが15歳の冬の頃でさ。姉貴はいきなり4つ年下で、今まで魔術に関わってなかった妹に魔法の相続権利を奪われたってわけよ。
4 years younger, so Toko is about 21.
そうか。それで。
That's why she's like, I'll take everything Aoko has. Because she did the same. She said that she was obligated to take what was Aoko's. Toko's words not from moments ago, her voice full of resentment as she spoke them.
あの人がどんな思いをしたか、私は本人じゃないから知らないけど、祖父と言い争って今まで愛用してたメガネを叩き壊して家を出て行ったのが3年と半年前。
Well, if you want to know, she smashed her glasses again.
それから全く消息なしで、私は姉の代わりになったの。これが私と姉貴の争う原因でしょうね。
Sojiro thought the story was tragic, but Aoko's voice had a tone of relief in it. Sojiro did not know exactly who he should feel bad for anymore.
メガネを壊したか。
そう、あの人昔はすっごく目が良かった。生まれながら魔眼を持ってたって化け物だからね。
The bitch was even born with mystic eyes.
祖父の期待に応えようとして無理して頑張った挙句、視力が下がっちゃったみたい。
Aoko wrestled with the memory, not sure if she had everything down exactly right. Sojiro knew how well Aoko could hide her emotions, and this was not one of those moments.
けど、あれに何の意味があったんだろう。メガネをジジイに叩きつけるぐらいなら、フィンの一撃でも叩き込めばよかったのに。あの人、あの頃が才能のピークだったんだし、猛録したジジイなんて、それこそ一撃だったと思うんだけど。
Sojiro shook his head, disappointed at Aoko's misjudgment of the situation.
恨みつらみの話じゃない。そのメガネは大事なものだったんだ。だってそれは誰にだってわかる努力の証なんだから。それを叩きつけたんだ。痛かったんだろうな、トウコさんは。思い出を自分で壊さなくちゃいけないくらいに。
As Sojiro spoke, neither Aoko nor Alice noticed the grief he was fighting to hold in. Or more accurately, they could not understand his point of view. After all, in a world where mages are raised to fight other mages, empathy was in short supply.
けど、どうして今頃になって戻ってきたのかしら。青子の言う通り、トウコさんならもっと早く美咲氏を奪えたのに。
I kind of want to see Alice versus Toko. It sounds like... Okay, Toko is definitely stronger than Aoko is at the moment, but like, we've seen that Alice is incredibly powerful. And I know that Toko is also incredibly powerful. Wonder who would win.
そうね。そんなに土地が欲しかったのなら、3年前に私を殺せば後継者に戻れたのに。世間の荒波に揉まれて気が変わったとか？
You did ask if she went to India. With the soy and the moi.
違う。青崎は本当にわからないのか。
Sojiro shook with a faint anger. His voice changed from the boy they thought they knew.
何よ、あんたならわかるっていうの？
Toko did say that they were alike.
誰だってわかる。トウコさんは青崎が一人前になるまで待っていたんだ。自分が失ったものと同じくらい大切なものをなくさせるために。そうしないとどうにもならない。そこまでしなくちゃいけないほどあの人の怒りは深かったんだ。
Sojiro gazed at them, wondering why they couldn't see what he could see. Only he was the only one that did not understand. The two girls, above all Toko Aozaki, denied themselves a type of relationship that other normal people are allowed to experience. Toko's actions were not fueled by hatred. While there certainly was hatred behind them, the real reason was and always has been Toko's pursuit of true magic. She was an ambitious and talented mage. Her hatred was her only veneer. Thinking of her in any other way would be an insult to the younger sister, who devoted her life to the study of magecraft. All of this Toko wanted to tell Sojiro, but instead stopped herself. Even if she had, Sojiro was not a mage and could never understand, and besides, arguing with him any further would not have brought her any joy. She could not have put it into words even if she had tried. And so...
やけに姉貴の肩を持つじゃない、宗十郎。もしかして一目惚れでもした？
I ran away from her at first sight. In her own cowardly way, Aoko dodged the subject. She smirked childishly.
肩ぐらい持つ。あの人はかわいそうな人だからな。
He gets how she feels. We still don't know much about Sojiro's past other than Mountain Boy. And like the scars on his neck. I'm assuming scars, but like I really want to know! Sojiro did not take the bait. Aoko was frustrated at his reply.
なぜ？
An icy glare replaced her smile. He did not falter, only plainly stating,
だって実の妹と争わなくちゃいけないんだろ。それはかわいそうなことじゃないのか。
This was a sort of his frustration.
確かにね。
Ako's eyes narrowed unconsciously, as if hiding from a painful truth. This guy is a poison, she thought to herself. A poison with no antidote. With his words, he was unwittingly bringing her weakness to light.
だけど私も姉貴もそれを何とも思ってないのよ。
Oh, music's going away.
だってそれ以外に解決策はないんだから。
It has to be this way. Sojiro looked down and frowned in defeat. And that's sad too, he muttered. Oh man. Oh man, that was intense. Oh, man. The curtains of the night had already fallen. Not even an hour had passed since Toko left the estate, and Sojiro was feeling the distance between him and the girls. Aoko and Alice felt much the same way about Toko Aozaki, who seemed more elusive than a phantom.
とにかく姉貴が敵だってことは宗十郎にも分かったでしょ。ならつべこべ言わず君子危うきに近寄らずよ。まあ姉貴もあんたと会って私たちとは全くの無関係だって分かっただろうから、そっちには手を出してこないでしょうけど。
No, she's going to go after me for sure. She says I'm yours, and she's gonna take what's yours. Aoko seemed absolutely certain in her assessment, as if to proclaim that Sojiro had dodged a bullet. Strangely, she was placing her trust in her enemy's sense of reason.
そうかな。そうなのかな。そうだといいんだけどな。
そうだから
I
安
really
心
hope you're
なさい。
right.
昔からいらないものには手を出さないんだからあの人は。
そっか。青崎がそこまで言うなら安心する。あ、いらないものって言えば、トウコさんが青崎のティーカップをもらうってセーブルのやつ。
ちょっと待って。
Bitch did what?
あんたそれを黙って見てたっていうの？
It's not like I could have stopped her.
そうだけど、やっぱりあれは奪っていったのか。
Shit, so that was theft. Sojiro nodded sagely, while Aoko fumed. She wondered where his serious manner and tone had gone. Sojiro's frustrating absent-mindedness had returned.
しかもセーブルのカップって私の一番のお気に入り。
but it was blue. Ako's fist trembled violently, but as much as she wanted to, she knew better than to plant it into Sojiro's carefree face. I mean, she did that before. Not that he was even capable, but even if Sojiro did try to stop Toko, it would have gone tragically for him.
仕方ないか。そういえばあの人よく私の持ち物を奪っていったっけ。他人のものを欲しがる癖まだ治ってないんだ。
ん？子供の頃はみんなそうなんじゃないのか？
She's an adult. I'm an adult. He wondered aloud, curiously.
そうかな。私のクレヨンとか人形とか取っても仕方ないと思うけど、どうせ粉々にしちゃうんだし。
Sojiro felt his heart jump into his mouth. The ominous foreshadowing was not lost on him.
それはどういう？
だからあの人って私の持ち物を横取りしてはぶっ壊すのが趣味なのよ。苦節14年、姉貴に目をつけられて無事だったものなんて一つもないもの。
Listening to Aoko, Sojiro recalled his conversation with Toko. He hoped he was imagining it, but he vaguely recalled her declaring Sojiro Shizuki as someone's property.
それはちょっと難儀だな。
Sojiro's face turned grim, not unlike a detective at the scene of a crime. A scene which left no traces of evidence or clues as to how this case could be solved.
でしょ、ひどい姉貴なのよ、あの人って。
Unaware of Sojiro's turmoil, Aoko calmly sipped her tea. Sojiro's got it figured out. He's in danger. Sojiro watched as Aoko shrugged her shoulders before looking over to the drawing room clock. No matter how heavy the mood, time kept on ticking.
明日から大変になるね。
Muttered the undeniable victim of today's injustices. Aoko looked ready to move on from the incident, adding,
そうね。でも今はそんなことより今日の夕飯のが楽しみなんだ、私。
I have nothing cooked. Al seemed to second that opinion with her silence. She's like, yeah, you said you were treating, right? Comfortable and relaxed, neither of them seemed to have any intention of leaving the sofa to prepare food. Tonight was supposed to be his night off from work, at least until midnight. But Sojiro knew until the clock struck midnight, he'd be serving on hand and foot the two ladies of the house. For one, it would take at least another hour to prepare something to eat, and there was no way the exhausted Aoko and Alice would stand for that, so the only other option, in the end, was to have something delivered.
なんと、トウコさんについていけばよかったかもしれないな。
Sojiro opened his wallet as he second-guessed the situation. His eyes settled on the third and final 10,000 yen bill in his wallet. It would stare back at him forlornly, reluctant to leave its home. With a heavy heart, he bid it farewell. Oh man, that was quite a entrance from Toko. Oh man, everyone's in danger. Next chapter is called Howling. I wonder in the archive, I know nothing got added, but okay, it filled up this entire area. Wow, that was a big chunk. And yeah, you can see the elder sister returns. Well, I didn't expect this entire part to be filled, but I think that's a good stopping point for the story. Next time, I'm gonna hop into, well, I don't know why I left the archive, but next time I'm gonna hop into this part. All about ploys, or I mean, the wonderful world of ploys. I mean, on the book side, if you flip it over, it says all about ploy kickshaw. So, what is a familiar? Let's learn ploy kickshaw. Oh, maybe it's, I don't think it's gonna be too long. Maybe it's just explanations of what this is. I don't know why it would be here, but I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, I'm gonna tackle this one next time. I don't know how long it would be. It's 2 parts, but judging from like the image, it doesn't look that long. But you know, it's always deceiving. Man, I don't know what to say. Toko's scary, but she's also like really hot. But she's also like really scary. Oh my god, is this what they called Haraus? Oh man. But yeah, I didn't expect so much to happen this episode, from the subway all the way to like the Sojiro and Toko's interactions in the house after she took off her glasses. I knew she was gonna be. I didn't know she was gonna be antagonistical. Actually, I thought the story was gonna be. How to say this? Originally, when this game came out like over 10 years ago, when I heard about it, I thought this game was going to be about Toko, Aoko, and Alice. I didn't know it was going to be mainly about Aoko, Alice, and Sojiro. So I thought it was really weird that Toko came so late into the story. She was sprinkled throughout from the beginning. Like any scene with automatons was essentially Toko's property. You knew it was going to be Toko just from seeing it. If you knew anything about Toko. But she appeared in the scene with the pachinko parlor. And I guess all the stuff that they talked about, this attacking mage, was just her. And it makes so much sense now why she was able to get through all these defenses, because she knew about them and she's part of the Aozaki clan. So a lot of questions have been answered, and now a new enemy approaches. And yeah, that's all real cool. But next time we're gonna hit this side story, and we'll find out about the wonderful world of ploys. But we'll do that next time. And until then, I will be seeing you. See ya!